Hello and welcome to Backlinking, the PKM podcast. I've actually tried filming this podcast 9 times now and I haven't gotten past the 3-minute mark. So this will be an exciting one. We are going to cover a few things. I want to deep dive into AI. We are going to talk about how I'm using AI applications and how apps in general feel like they're like pivoting everywhere. And then I want to talk about the fact that it seems like everyone seems to hate AI right now. But before we do that, I want to talk about a couple of productivity news. So Capacity's AI connectors, or just MCP, because I mentioned that last week. And then I want to talk about Recall, which is new again. I think this is the third version of the application. So I want to dive into those two things as well. But I think we can start off with some, again, channel updates, or it isn't updates, it's still the same thing. I am still doing this podcast on two channels right now. As the other channel grows to a certain point, I will stop posting it to the main channel. I haven't actually checked main channel stats for a while either, so that is something I should probably do after I've filmed this video. But anyways, that was besides the point. I'm still doing this two channel posting schedule for this podcast, but I will move away from that. Then when it comes to like AI, podcast stuff in general, the idea is that I am trying to keep this podcast. This will be a shorter episode, but I'm trying to keep it somewhere between like 20 and 45 minutes because sometimes, like last week, I have a lot to say. Other times I don't have that much to say, and I don't want to just make it long for the sake of making it long, even though it sounds like that is what I'm trying to do, but it is just because I use many words to try to describe whatever I'm feeling or thinking. But let's actually start off with Recall. So I don't know if people remember Recall. It was this application that started off like a normal note-taking app. I don't even remember the first version of Recall at this point, but it was like a really cool note-taking application. Then it went to this AI note-taking application where it wanted to automate a bunch of stuff for you. It added things like automatic linking. It added a feature called augmented browsing, I think the feature is called, where like if you browsed the web, um, it would it would surface the things that was in your knowledge base. So I think the application was and is really interesting, but they seem to have pivoted one more time. The whole web page is different. They call it Recall 2.0, but we already had Recall 2.0, I think. So they are pivoting, or not necessarily pivoting. I think it's a lot of the same stuff, but just it looks different. And I think they have a bit more focus on YouTube videos and videos in general. I'm actually not sure why they went away, and I can't like tell you why I think they moved away through to a new experience, but they have moved to a new experience, and I think it's fascinating to see all of these applications just over and over add like new versions. I think the focus here is much more on the chat experience in this version. So I think that is the thing, and you can like decide in the chat experience if it should only go through your your recall, or if it should go through your notes and the web, like Recall and the web, or just Recall. So I think that seems to be a huge thing, but that isn't something new. That is something we've seen. Like, this was the whole idea Mem released with a while back. So I will have to like try out the application and see whether or not it is something that I could recommend, or if I can better like understand why why they have ended up doing the thing they have. When it comes to pricing, it is still $10 each month, but they have a max plan, and I'm so tired of plus and max pricing, but that's the stage of SaaS application right now. So they have a free plan which gives you 10 AI cards, but then you have to pay. You can chat with your knowledge, but the major difference with the plus plan and the max plan is like frontier AI models, bulk AI actions, multi PDF uploads, maximum AI usage. So I'm guessing they will limit your usage at a certain point, just like all of the other AI applications out there, because AI is it is it is really expensive. So I will have to try it out, but I wanted to mention that we have another recall. Again, they're calling it Recall 2.0, but I honestly thought we were already at 2.0. And I'm not saying that this is a bad thing at all. It just speaks to the fact that every application seems to like jump around and be pivoting and not trying to figure out, or not being able to figure out what their role is in today's productivity space, with all of the AI stuff, with Claude Cowork, with everything that is happening. It makes a lot of sense. Before we go more into that, I wanted to take a second to also talk about capacities. Capacities added AI improvements last week. This week they've added AI connectors, so you can now connect your capacities to your Claude. Won't go too much into this because we already have it with things like Notion. Craft also has it. There are a bunch of applications that have added MCP servers, which makes it easier for you to interact with all of your stuff through one chat interface. So back to the point of applications pivoting, because I want to spend a little bit of time here. I think I've talked about it before with Tana, which also like moved away from the knowledge base into more like team stuff. One thing is that like team enterprise is where the money is. Just ask OpenAI and ChatGPT. They haven't figured out the enterprise stuff because they've like been focusing on getting the personal users, and at some point like Anthropic moved past them when it came to like enterprise, and like it's a whole thing. I've been reading all about this today. So for businesses to make more money, this goes for Notion as well. Like Notion started off as more of a personal application, but for the last like two and a half years, it has turned more into like a business application, with more and more of the new features being tailored towards business use cases. So that is one reason why Tana moved away. The second reason is because like this idea of an AI knowledge base, it can be done with markdown files. And like one of the questions you have to ask to an app developer at this point is, and this goes mainly for people deep into the productivity space. Again, I tend to use my fiance, my sister, my fiance's sister as examples. They are not the type of people who would sit down and build markdown. I call them markdown apps. I'm actually not sure what the real name for them is, but basically using markdown files to get Claude to work, or any other AI application. But I'm mainly talking about Claude and Claude Cowork because that's what I use. Getting that to like work better for you. That is the thing that like I talk about when I talk about Markdown applications. Some people call them agents, like there are different names. I don't know what the actual name for it is. And I'm not even sure if it has an actual name, but the question developers and teams building applications need to ask themselves is, could this be done with just a Markdown file? Let's do my to-do list as an example. Could I talk to Claude Cowork and get it to update my to-do list in a Markdown and then put it in a dashboard for me? I probably could. But I wouldn't be able to add all of the like necessary features. But I could do a lot of like to-do list stuff on my Claude Cowork with just Markdown files. So that's just an example, not necessarily a good one, but it brings me to my next point, which is like knowledge bases, especially for people who are trying to connect their knowledge base using AI. Like one of the promises of AI was that you would be able to get AI to connect the dots for you. You wouldn't have to do that yourself. So you could just put a bunch of stuff into your note-taking or productivity application, and AI would connect things for you. That was one of the promises. And for people wanting to do that, it might actually be like being able to sort of just use Markdown files might actually save you subscription costs and also work better. I've seen people using Obsidian and Claude. I know that that is a really good workflow and use case, and Obsidian seems to be the big winner in the like productivity app space when everything is Markdown files locally on your device. So it makes a lot of sense that like Obsidian is doing well right now. But again, my point here is that it is a lot of uncertainty on where the AI space will go and what will happen to SaaS applications and note-taking apps and productivity applications. I already see a bunch of productivity YouTubers talking about how AI has like changed not the way they work, but changed their subscriptions. Like they no longer subscribe to applications, they just have Claude doing it all for them. And this is still like a really early version of AI. And the point for these note-taking apps like Tana, like Notion, like many others, or like Recall, is to be around for 5-10 years. And if AI already is like putting them in a place where they need to rethink their whole product, it might be right to pivot. And I'm saying Recall. Recall didn't actually, it didn't seem like they pivoted, but since they released like a 2.0, I'm just going to use them in the example here because they are trying to like utilize AI better, because a lot of the stuff they offered before can also now be done with Claude and MCP servers and things like that. So I am going to include them anyway, but I think it makes a lot of sense that applications are jumping around trying to figure out stuff, and like it isn't just in the PKM and productivity space. Even though AI has actual use cases here, it is also everywhere else, like sneakers companies turning into AI compute renting companies. I think that's what Allbirds ended up doing, a GPU renting company. I won't go into that except to say that it is like weird times. Anyways, what I wanted to like continue on is how I am personally using AI right now, because like there are different use cases here, and I think one of the main important things to do right now is to figure out your philosophy around AI. What role do you want AI to play in your life? What rules do you want to set for it? Like in my case, I want to do most of the thinking myself. I wrote a Medium post about this today, but one way of putting it is like, I want to do deep work, then the AI can do shallow work. That is one way of looking at it. So some specific, let's actually start off with the tools I'm currently using. And I have done a video on this on my YouTube channel, but I'm currently using Linear as sort of a project management tool, and I am also using Typefully for social media management. And the last thing I'm using is Cloud Cowork. That's the main three. I'm also using things like Canva and more stuff like that, but those are the main three I want to focus on. And one of the use cases I've had for AI is to like write a bunch of stuff into my Linear, like X posts, short posts for X, for Blue Sky, things like that. And I have then gotten AI to go into Linear, fix the grammar for those posts, and automatically schedule them to Typefully. And what I could probably do is that I could schedule this task once a week. I haven't done that yet. I just do it manually every single week, but actually I should probably try to schedule it weekly. So that is one of the use cases I have. Another one, as a non-native English speaker, I need help with my grammar, so I use AI sort of as an editor. I go back and forth, and even though I think a real editor would be better, a real editor would also be much more expensive than my currently $20 Claude plan, which I am considering going to the max plan again. I was on the max plan, then I went to the pro plan, and I'm considering going back to the max plan again. So that has also been one way I've been using Claude and AI. The last thing is in design, and where I've like been using it to get a lot of feedback on designs in my day job. You wouldn't believe it, but I actually design stuff. You wouldn't believe it because I don't spend enough time on my YouTube thumbnails, which I'm planning to get better at, but that is for another podcast episode. But what I do is that I like give it a design and ask it to give me feedback. Then I go in and I fix that design, and I have looked at things like, I know that Canva just released their Canva 2.0 AI. I don't know if they released it or they just announced it. I know that they announced it, but I don't know if it is out yet. But I'm like excited to see if those tools can be used for something, especially first drafting. Like one thing I've already done with Figma is that if I have an idea for a design or a website, I've made 1 or 2 websites this year, which isn't that much, but that's beside the point. Tried, I have tried using it in, I've tried using it in Figma, the AI, and just getting it to sort of give me a prototype, a first look at what this idea would look like. So basically, if you have an idea, sometimes it's good, other times it is terrible. Many times for me personally, my ideas are terrible, but actually getting to like see the idea in full before I decide to deep dive into it and build the thing or make the design, it is really helpful and it saves me a lot of time. So that's the main ways I've been using AI. I still think my AI uses are very basic, but that, and I've also tried like building personal applications and vibe coding. That is something I'm playing around with all the time, but I still think that my use cases of AI are really, really basic, and I do like watch all of the tutorials, and I watch the news about AI, but there are some things that I won't just give AI to do for me. One of those things is like the thinking part of whatever I do. I want to do the thinking myself. That is really important to me. I want to think, then the AI can help me at a certain point when I feel like the idea is developed enough. But if I sort of lose my ability to come up with new ideas, and I lose my ability to like think, I just think that going forward, those two things will become much more important. So I am deciding to like still do that as much as I can. There are times, like as I said, it is my philosophy around AI, but there is no right or wrong philosophy, and at times I forget about it and I just get AI to do all of the stuff for me. It happens because there are times where I just need to be really efficient, or I've procrastinated for too long, or I've been really depressed and not gotten to the things I should, and I need AI to like speed it up so I can go faster through it. There are things like that that I will do, and it happens. I don't want it to happen, but it does, and that's okay. But generally, I would say that I think one of the most important things with AI right now is to figure out your philosophy around it. What are you willing to automate? What are your thoughts on how to use AI for you personally? And just like get familiar with those thoughts and figure out what's right and wrong for you. And I think that will be the last thing in today's podcast episode. If you have any questions, leave them down below. I will try to get to them as soon as I can. Thank you so much for watching or listening to today's podcast episode.